my older queen. People look at us funny sometimes. They don't say anything out loud, but I see it in their eyes. The confusion, the judgment, the how did he end up with her? Kind of stares. And I get it. She's older than me. Not by a little, by enough that strangers feel the need to do the math in their heads. But what they don't know is that I've never met anyone like her. She's not loud. She's not flashy. She doesn't try to be anything she's not. She just is. And what she is everything. The first time we met, she looked at me like she already knew me, like she had seen all the mess in me, all the rough edges, and decided none of it scared her. And that kind of gaze, it does something to you. I was used to people expecting me to prove myself. She never asked. She just watched, quiet, calm, steady, and gave me space to be real. She didn't try to fix me. She didn't try to shrink herself for me. She stood tall in who she was, and that made me want to rise too. Not because she needed me to, but because I wanted to deserve her. And now, everything I have belongs to her. Not because she asked for it. Not because I owe her. But because no one has ever held me the way she does, with grace, with wisdom, with fire that never needs to scream to be felt. When I say everything, I mean it. My peace, my loyalty, my time, my future. She's earned it. She doesn't care about my money. Never has. But I give her the best of it anyway. She doesn't care about my name or what people think of me. But I carry her name in every room I enter, like a quiet badge of honor. She taught me how to love without fear, how to speak softly and mean every word, how to stay when it's hard, how to be a man in ways that have nothing to do with noise and everything to do with respect. She carries herself like a queen, and not in the way social media tries to sell it. She doesn't need praise. She doesn't want attention. She just wants peace, honesty, love that shows up, not just talks. And I show up, every time. Because she's not just older. She's wiser. She's realer. She's rare. I've had people ask if I feel controlled, if I'm too young to settle. They say things like, "You're giving too much," or "She's lucky to have you." But they've got it all backwards. I'm the lucky one. Because when you find someone who sees you before you see yourself, someone who helps you become who you were meant to be, someone who doesn't play games, doesn't play small, doesn't play with your heart, you don't hold back. You give. Everything. It started with quiet whispers. At first, people kept their opinions to themselves. Just raised eyebrows, short pauses, awkward smiles when they saw us together. I knew what they were thinking. I could feel it before they ever said a word. But eventually, the comments started slipping out. Little ones, wrapped in fake concern. "You sure this is what you want long term? Don't you feel like you're missing out on something? She's older. You ever think about what that really means?" And the worst one, the one that made my blood heat up even though they said it with a laugh. "She must be spoiling you, huh? Like I was some lost boy she had scooped up from the street. Like I couldn't possibly be with her for real reasons. Like love only made sense if the math lined up." I held it in at first. I tried to ignore it, thinking maybe it would stop. But it didn't. One night, we went to a small dinner, just a few old friends from my side. She dressed simply, beautifully, like she always did. She sat beside me, calm and composed, not trying to impress anyone, just there, being herself. And that seemed to bother them more than anything. The jokes were subtle, coated in smiles. But they were cutting. Little things like, "You like your women mature, huh?" Or, "She keeps you in line, doesn't she?" She didn't react. She never does. She just held her glass, nodded politely, and kept her grace. But I saw the shift in her eyes. That quiet withdrawal. The hurt she wouldn't speak out loud. Not to protect herself, but to protect me. And that's when I realized something. I had been letting people disrespect the one person who never once disrespected me. So I spoke. Not loud. Not angry. Just firm. "Let me be clear," I said, voice calm but steady. "She doesn't keep me in line. She lifts me up. She makes me better. She gives me peace. She doesn't try to control me. She trusts me to choose her. And I do, every single day." The room went quiet. I wasn't trying to embarrass anyone. I just couldn't let their words keep stealing from what we had. Then I looked at her and I added, everything I have belongs to her, not because I'm weak, not because I'm lost, but because I know what I have, and I refuse to lose it trying to please people who will never understand it. She didn't cry. She didn't say much. She just reached for my hand under the table and held it tight. And that was enough. Later, when it was just us, she finally said, you didn't have to say all that. But I smiled and answered, no, I needed to, because I've watched you protect my name without hesitation. And now it's my turn to protect yours. She leaned into me after that, and we sat in silence for a long time. Not awkward silence, full silence. The kind that says everything words can't. People still talk. They still don't get it. But we do. And that's all that matters. Came out of nowhere. One of those moments life throws at you when everything seems calm. Like it's testing what you've built when you least expect it. She got a call late in the evening. I saw the way her face dropped before she even said a word. Her voice got quiet. Her hands started shaking just a little, and her eyes turned distant. Her sister had fallen seriously ill. Suddenly. No warning. Just one of those things that changes everything in a second. I stood by, ready to go with her. Bags packed, no questions asked. But she turned to me, held my hand, and said, you don't need to come. I'll only be gone for a week or two. I knew what she meant. She wasn't pushing me away. She was trying to protect me again. Trying to carry weight alone. Like she always had, long before I ever came into the picture. But I wasn't the man I used to be. I didn't let her walk through that door alone. I drove her there. Stayed in the hospital waiting room when they needed space. Brought food she never asked for. Held her hand when the fear got too heavy. Sat with her in silence when she didn't have the energy to speak. And every single day, I whispered the same words. You don't have to be strong for me. I've got you. Because when someone gives you their everything, you don't leave when things get hard. You show up harder. There were nights she didn't sleep at all. Nights when she'd stare at the wall, thinking I wasn't watching. That's when I saw it. Not her strength, but her tiredness. And in those moments, I remembered why I said, everything I have belongs to my older queen. Because it's not just about gifts, or comfort, or romance. It's about staying when love is silent. When it's not pretty. When it's worn out, raw, and exhausted. One night, while she was helping her sister settle into a new care plan, I was back at her place alone. I walked through the quiet rooms, her books still stacked neatly, her scent still lingering in the air, everything waiting for her return. I sat on her couch and just stared. And I realized this wasn't about age, or image, or what people thought. It was about who showed up when the world felt cold. And I was proud to be her person. Not the one who needed her to carry everything, but the one she could finally rest beside, without holding it all together. She came home a week later, drained, worn out, quieter than usual. I didn't flood her with questions. I just held her hand and said, you can fall apart with me. I won't flinch. And for the first time in a while, she let go. Not completely, but enough. And that was everything. After everything that happened, the hospital visits, the long nights, the endless worry, we both needed air. Not escape. Not distraction. Just space to breathe again. So we took a short trip. Nothing fancy. Just a quiet cabin tucked between trees and hills, where the world felt slower, softer. Somewhere with no reception, no notifications, no one asking questions. Just us. She was tired. I could see it in her shoulders. Still carrying the weight of the past few weeks. Still half in survival mode. Like she didn't know how to stop being strong. But something about that place began to ease her. The first night, we sat on the back porch, wrapped in a shared blanket, watching the stars. It was cold, but she leaned into me without a word. Just her hand on my chest, listening to my heartbeat like it grounded her. And that was the first time I saw it. A side of her no one ever talks about. The soft side, the silly one, the playful smirk she gave me when she caught me staring too long. The way she hummed songs while making breakfast, barefoot on wooden floors, hair tied up messy, dancing like no one could see her. She laughed that weekend. Full belly laughs that made her eyes close. Not the polite kind, the real kind. And every time she did, it felt like life was pressing reset on the both of us. One morning, I woke up to find her outside already, coffee in hand, eyes closed, breathing deep. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting gold across her skin. She looked peaceful. I walked up, slow, careful not to break the moment. She opened her eyes and smiled like she'd been waiting for me all along. "You look like you belong here," I said. And she answered, "I only feel that way when I'm with you." That one sentence stayed with me all day. Because this woman, this queen, she had lived entire lifetimes before me, carried heartbreak, rebuilt herself, learned how to stand tall with or without someone beside her. But here she was, choosing me, trusting me, resting with me, not because she needed saving, but because she finally felt safe enough not to save herself for once. That weekend, we didn't talk about the future much, didn't plan anything, didn't try to make big promises. We just lived, cooked slow meals, read books side by side, sat by the fire with no words, held hands like it was the only thing keeping the world in balance. And I realized something deeper than before. Loving her wasn't a decision I made once. It was a decision I kept making, in every small moment, every quiet hour, every time I chose to listen when it was easier not to. She didn't ask me to give her everything, but she deserved everything. And that's why I did. The peace didn't last as long as I hoped. Life, as always, found a way to knock on the door just when things were finally quiet. A message popped up on my phone late one night. A name I hadn't seen in a long time. Someone from my past. Someone who only ever showed up when they wanted something. Someone who had once made a mess of my life, and I had let them more than once. First, I didn't open it. Just stared at the notification. The way your body tenses when you smell smoke but don't see the fire yet. She was in the kitchen, humming softly while making tea, completely unaware. And for a split second, I thought about deleting it, pretending it never happened. But I didn't, because something inside me told me this moment mattered. Later, when we were in bed and the lights were off, I whispered, "Someone from before reached out." She didn't ask who, didn't jump to conclusions, just said, "Okay," with that calm voice she always used when she was listening, not reacting. I didn't respond. I added. She nodded. "Do you want to?" I took a breath. "No, but part of me feels like I need to say something. Not to them, to myself. To that version of me who used to let people in just because I didn't know how to say no." There was silence after that. Not the cold kind, the thoughtful kind. She reached for my hand under the blanket and held it. "You don't owe your past anything," she said. "But if you need to face it, I'll be here when you're done." That meant more than she knew, because this wasn't just about an old message. This was about who I used to be. Someone who gave his time to people who never deserved it. Someone who mistook chaos for love, who chased